The iron choir was not a place, it was a wound. The hall stretched 3 stories high, its ceiling a cathedral of rusted beams and cracked stone. Chains hung from every rafter, thick and long, their iron links ringing faintly with each draft of wind. Some said the guild had built it as a forge before the paper years, when steel mattered more than signatures. Others whispered it was older, carved by hands that worshipped sound, not fire. Whatever its origin, the chains still sang when pulled, their voices low and mournful, like the city itself remembering. And tonight, it was a stage. Jarek stood at the hall's edge, hood pulled low, watching the crowd gather. Cultists clustered near the front, their black flames guttering in ritual patterns. Gangs perched along broken balconies, knives flashing in the dim light. Merchants, scavengers, children all pressed together, drawn by rumor and promise. The guild was there too, though not openly. Scribes stood at the edges, their slates glowing faintly, pretending to be bystanders. Jarek knew better. The hunger prowled inside him, restless. This is our place. Chains to pull, voices to silence, souls to take. End the waiting. Begin the fire. His chest burned, 7 rings grinding. He touched the band at his wrist, grounding himself. The basin's quiet lingered faintly, thin as thread but strong enough to remind him he was more than hunger. Varric stood beside him, knives hidden under his cloak, crimson eye clicking as it scanned the hall. Too many voices in one room, he murmured. It will end in blood or chains breaking. Likely both. Why here? Jarek asked, though he already knew. Because it sings, Varric said. And Ilya wants everyone to hear his note. As if summoned by the words, Ilya stepped onto the central platform. His presence drew silence like iron to a magnet. The gauntlet on his right hand gleamed, its etched runes glowing faintly blue. His posture was calm, his expression almost gentle, but his eyes carried a certainty that pressed against the hall like weight. Brothers. Sisters. Children of fire, he began, his voice clear and resonant. We stand in a city chained by paper and silence. Doors open, beasts pour through, and the guild tells us to measure, to record, to contain. The cult tells us to kneel, to surrender our fire to prophecy. The gangs tell us to sell what should not be sold. But I tell you this, fire is not theirs. Fire is ours. The crowd murmured, stirred. The cult hissed, half in anger, half in awe. The gangs grinned, sensing opportunity. Ilya raised his gauntleted hand. The runes flared brighter, and the chains above trembled. One by one, they began to hum, their voices blending into a low, resonant chord that filled the hall. The sound was not just heard, it was felt, vibrating in bones and blood. The crowd gasped, caught in its pull. The hunger purred. Yes. He plays chains like instruments. He makes fire sing. Learn. Take. Devour. Jarek clenched his fists, his forge roaring. He twists it, he muttered. Varric's knife shifted, ready. He believes its truth. Ilya's voice rose with the chains. We do not temper fire. We do not cage it. We forge it into ourselves, whole and unbroken. Every door is a gift. Every beast a feast. We are not jailers of flame, we are its chosen vessels. The cult roared, their black flames flaring. The gangs cheered, knives raised. Even some merchants shouted, swept by the sound. Then Ilya's gaze found Jarek in the crowd. If this story has you listening this far, subscribe to Azure Inkblade so the next chapter finds you instead of getting buried. It helps us keep making more of these every week. Now, back to the chapter. His smile curved faintly, not mocking, not cruel, but certain. And here he is. The one they call crownless. My brother in fire. My mirror. The crowd turned, eyes burning. Whispers surged, crownless, predator, warden. Some shouted his name, others spat. The forge in Jarek's chest blazed, his chains stirring under his skin. The hunger howled. Yes. Step forward. Take the stage. Prove them wrong by proving me right. Varric's hand pressed against his shoulder. Choice, he said, steady. Yours. Jarek drew a breath, then stepped onto the platform. The crowd roared, voices crashing like waves. Ilya spread his arms, welcoming. Crownless. You temper, you cage, you chain. You deny the gift of fire. Tell all of us why. The chains above rang louder, vibrating with his words. The gauntlet pulsed, feeding them. The air thickened, hot with power. Jarek felt every eye, every whisper. He could unleash his forge, devour the sound, silence it with fire. The hunger urged him, begged him. Burn them. Take them. Show them chains are crowns. Instead, he raised his banded wrist. The thin ring glimmered, faint but steady. He held it high so all could see. Because tools last longer than thrones, he said, voice rough but clear. Because crowns break. Chains bind. Tools build. The hall erupted. Some shouted in rage, others in awe. The cult screamed prophecy. The gangs cheered blood. The guild scribes wrote furiously, their slates glowing brighter. Ilya's smile faltered, just for a moment. His gauntlet flared, chains above shrieking in fury. Weakness, he said, his voice sharp now. You deny fire's gift. You insult it with scraps of silence. You will break under weight you refuse to carry. The chains whipped downward, lashing like serpents. The crowd screamed, scattering. Jarek's chains burst forth, golden and blazing, clashing against iron. Sparks filled the air as metal struck metal, ringing like a chorus of war. His forge blazed, the 7 rings grinding, the hunger howling with joy. Yes. This is truth. Fight. Devour. But Jarek held steady, his band glowing, tempering the pull. He shaped the chains' fury, forcing them to ring in harmony instead of chaos. The hall shook with sound, iron singing against gold. The clash became music. Low, terrible, beautiful. The iron choir sang. The crowd froze, caught in awe. Cultists dropped their flames, gangs lowered their knives, even the guild scribes hesitated, their slates dimming. Ilya's gauntlet flared brighter, his face twisted in frustration. You cannot silence me. Jarek's voice rose over the song. I don't need to. The chains sing for themselves. For a moment, the hall held its breath. The chains vibrated in harmony, their voices echoing through the city. Then the sound faded, the glow dimmed, and silence fell. The crowd erupted again, louder than before. Some cried his name as savior, others cursed him as heretic. But none could deny what they had seen. Ilya's smile returned, sharp and thin. You've chosen your song, crownless. And now, so will they. He turned, the gauntlet dimming, and strode from the platform, cultists and gangs parting before him. Varric stepped to Jarek's side, crimson eye clicking. You made a tool again. That's twice now. Jarek's chest burned, his rings grinding, the hunger furious. You could have devoured it. You could have taken it all. Fool. He shut his eyes, breathing in sevens. Better a tool than a throne, he whispered. The iron choir's chains swayed above, still humming faintly, as if agreeing.